From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. This week on the program, we begin a series of interviews with those who want to be Nashville's mayor. We already had 4 of the mayoral candidates on, all the major ones, earlier this year. We want to give our viewers, however, another opportunity to hear from the mayoral contenders before early voting begins on Friday, July 12th. The actual election day is August 1st. Our first guest is Dr. Carol Swain, a retired law and political science professor at Vanderbilt University. Dr. Swain, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
We always begin these discussions with candidates, particularly for people who've not seen you or heard you before. Why do you want to be mayor?
Well, I want to be mayor because I believe that Nashville is headed in the wrong direction and that it would take an outsider, someone with courage, to do some of the things that's necessary to put our city back on track. Running for mayor is not anything I ever imagined I would be doing in my life. I was approached by people last year when I came in number 2 who urged me to run. This year I was not planning to run. I was approached by a different group of people that included Democratic businessmen. And at that point, I reconsidered. I looked at the fact that Nashville was still headed in the wrong direction. So I decided that I would throw my hat in the ring once again. And I'm doing it to be a servant leader. I believe Nashville needs someone that's not a politician, someone who's there for the people and not for themselves.
Is that the reason you tell voters they should choose you over the other candidates? Let's start with Mayor Briley. Why should voters choose you over him?
Well, Mayor Briley has had a year to demonstrate leadership, and I think many of us have concluded that we don't want 4 more years of what we have seen. And I think that voters should choose me because I have integrity, I have courage, I care about people and neighborhoods, and I will not be working for special interest groups. I will be working for the people of Nashville.
Why should voters choose you over the other 2 major candidates, Metro Councilman at Large John Cooper and State Representative John Ray Clemens?
Well, both of them are politicians, and if they wanted to address the problems of Nashville and the problems of the state, John Cooper has had, I believe, 4 years to enact policies and programs and to be out front on those issues, and I see him as part of the problem. And with John Ray Clemens, I think that some of the things that he's pushing are not right for our city and not even right for our state, even though I believe that they're all good men, they all have good hearts, but I believe that the policies that they're pushing are not what Nashville needs right now.
You mentioned running last year in the special mayoral election. How is this year's campaign different than last year's? Is it different? Are the issues the same? Have things changed?
Well, most of the issues are the same. What's changed is I believe the city is in a worse condition than before. And for me, what's different is I had the experience of having run last year and come in number 2 in a field of 13, but I've been thinking about the policies and the people of Nashville and what it would take to move our city forward. And I believe that it's important to have an outsider. When you look at the gentlemen that are running, 2 of them come from political dynasties, Councilman Cooper and Mayor Briley. They come from political families. John Ray Clemens, he's a trial lawyer. I think that my background of having 28 years of being a political science and law professor, studying governments, looking at urban politics, that right now is what people need. But also my background as having been someone that's overcome the odds. I know America. I was a high school dropout, one of 12. I got a GED, went to a community college and got 5 degrees. I was tenured early at Princeton. I've won national prizes. I've been cited by the U.S. Supreme Court. I am uniquely qualified to lead at this point, and I know what it's like, to go to public schools and to be poor and to work minimum wage jobs.
On August 1st, if no candidate gets 50% plus 1 of the vote, there'll be another election in September as a runoff vote. Is your strategy in running your race to try to be one of those 2 people in the runoff? Do you believe you can go from getting 23% last year to be over the top at 50% on August 1st, or is it going to take 2 races?
Pat, my strategy is to win on August 1st. and not have a runoff.
But are you budgeting for a runoff in case you need it? Because you won't have a lot of time to raise money because you'll start in the runoff immediately if you do get into it.
Well, what I'm doing is running the counter campaign that isn't focused on a runoff strategy. I'm going to all sectors of Nashville, various constituencies, and I'm trying to appeal to the city as a whole. And so as far as budgeting, right now I'm budgeting to win on August 1st. And if there's a runoff, I'll deal with the runoff at that time. But right now, I expect to win on August 1st because I'm the best candidate. I'm uniquely qualified to lead Nashville forward.
After the race last year, you said you expected to possibly be in the runoff because there were two other African Americans in the race that you thought would do better than they did. They both got about 4% of the vote. This time, do you expect to get the lion's share of the African American vote? Is that where you think that's going to be one of your areas of strength?
Well, that's not, I'm trying to get everyone's vote, but my office is in North Nashville, and I have spent more time building relationships with black people. The black leaders, most of them, have already, they're in one camp or another, most of the political leaders. And so I'm really going to the people, but I'm not just focusing on the black community. I've been to the Islamic Center, I've reached out to Muslims, I've reached out to the LGBT community. I've just reached out to various constituencies that make up Nashville, and I believe I'm the best candidate for everyone.
Money becomes very important. You were very enthused about your fundraising when you came in here earlier back in the spring. Is it still stayed good because you need a lot of money, and doesn't that help you as well run television spots, or is TV as important to you? Is online becoming more important for how you want to get your word out?
Well, I think TV is important, and last time we were outspent 6-1, and this time, clearly Mayor Brawley and John Cooper, who can afford to self-finance, they have more money than I do, and so that's a fact. And so I'm using the money that I have wisely, I believe. We're running our TV commercials like early in the morning when people are getting ready for work. They are 15-second ads as opposed to 30 seconds. We run 2 in the same hour, and they're catchy. People like them. And so, we're being a thrifty campaign, and that's how I'm going to run the city. So we're not wasting money.
Dr. Carol Swain's our guest. She's a candidate for mayor in the August 1st election here in Nashville. Back to continue our conversation after this break.